Later this month, the eyes of the sports world will once again be focused on Wimbledon, not just for the championship play, but also the timeless tradition played out on some of the most storied grass courts in tennis. But keeping the pristine surfaces at their best and caring for the acres of greenery throughout the garden-like grounds at the All England Croquet and Lawn Tennis Club is no easy task. We went behind the scenes to get a look at how it's done and meet the people making sure each blade of grass, petal, and plant lives up to the Wimbledon name. When it comes to Wimbledon, it is a celebrity in its own right. At times, tricky to navigate. In other moments, a welcome asset.
The better that you move, the better you play on grass.
A competition surface meant to be both playable and picturesque.
The unique selling point of Wimbledon is grass. You know, it's the green stuff, and that's what makes it different.
Mark Ferguson should know. And your title here?
Club agronomist.
What does that mean?
I guess it means I'm an in-house consultant specialising in the management and maintenance of sports turf, and in this case, grass tennis courts.
And not just any. The grass courts gracing the All England Croquet and Lawn Tennis Club, home to the Wimbledon Championships, the oldest Grand Slam dating back to 1877. Its current array of courts ranging in age from teens to just over 100.
They're a bit like wayward children. They all have to be managed in a slightly different way.
I love that. The surfaces, once a grass blend like those found on putting greens, changed to ryegrass in 2001. Denser and more resilient, each blade is mowed to an 8-millimeter length. How was 8 millimeters determined?
I think trial and error over the years, to be fair, because it would have been shorter than that back in the day, like say 100 years ago when we were using different grasses. What you're looking to do is achieve the right surface characteristics.
Ferguson's been helping care for these famed courts for nearly 2 decades. First as part of the Sports Turf Research Institute, which specializes in the grasses, fertilizers, and soils used for athletic fields around the world.
I realised that a lot of people perhaps don't think about those things when they're watching a football match or a tennis match or something like that. So they're looking at the grass and think, yeah, all you've got to do is cut it once a week and then the players are out there. But there's quite a lot more science and technology that goes into the preparation of grass.
So give me a sense, the preparation here.
Well, the preparation for next year's Wimbledon will start the day after this year's Wimbledon.
There's no day off.
So there's not really, well, there might be one day off.
He says that upkeep between each year's tournament includes everything from repair and rejuvenation work to completely removing the surface and starting fresh. And once Wimbledon is underway, what is that like for you?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. We're kind of watching the feet rather than the rackets. We know that we're going to lose grass cover as the championships go on.
And while there's no way to avoid it, Ferguson says the level of wear and tear and play comes back to preparation.
So we're going to measure how hard the surface of the court is with this device.
Why does that matter?
It's the way that the players interact with the court and the way that the ball interacts with the court. So it'll affect how high and how consistent the bounce of the ball is. We also need it to be a certain level of hardness for good traction for the players and to make sure that they can turn better and run across the surface better rather than on a soft surface.
The lawn or grass crew, about 30 in total, have a goal for surface hardness to start the tournament.
And all you do is drop this weight in there from 30 centimetres.
Each drop gives a reading, a meaningless number to us, but to the professionals, the perfect jumping off point, knowing the court will get firmer throughout the championship. Water slows that process, like the rain we had on our visit.
This spring has been
really
probably
dry,
about the driest spring we've had in my living memory anyway, and it's been very unusual.
Yeah,
you brought
You're
rain
welcome,
from the
everybody
States,
at Wimbledon.
Just don't bring it in July.
I will be here, you're safe. Ferguson's not the only constant weather watcher at the All England Club.
You know, at the moment we really need it, but don't always want this during the championships.
Yeah. Martin Falconer has been head gardener at the 42-acre site for more than a decade.
He and a team of around 20 responsible for all the green that's not grass, like the Living Wall, part of the #1 court redevelopment in 2019, a gain in biodiversity, aesthetics, and engineering.
Have you had a challenge ever before like this?
Not quite like this. It's very different in the terms of, you know, watering, maintenance. It's a soilless system, so it takes quite a lot of water, and you need to make sure that the water's always working because it dries out really quickly. So it's always a challenge.
While other displays may be less grand, they are certainly no less beautiful, with a total of about 50,000 plants and flowers adorning the grounds come tournament time. The most recognizable, the hydrangea and petunia, a part of Wimbledon history, along with the center court ivy.
That's been around since the 1920s. There's images of when centre court was built and they were already starting to grow ivy on it. And then everything else, we're about tennis in an English garden.
For somebody who loves plants and flowers, is there anything better than tennis in an English garden?
I don't think so, and that hopefully that's what we achieve when all the public are turning up. They're not watching tennis, they're enjoying the grounds in an English garden.
And when the focus does turn back to tennis, that again is Mark Ferguson's department, one which he says is part science, part green thumb, with eyes and hands still the best tools in grass court caretaking. It's a job that, at least for Ferguson, appears as prized as those elusive Wimbledon trophies.
You know, you can't help but feel a bit of pride when they're walking out on the surfaces that you've been helping to maintain all year. So yeah, we're very lucky, very privileged to work here. It's an amazing place to work.
And I never really thought about it until I was there with Mark, that surface underneath is what matters even more than the grass. Obviously, they don't want to lose grass, but that's what gives it the right bounce. That's what gives them the traction. It's why you're still sliding on the grass, but the hardness underneath, that surface hardness, is so important.
I learned so much. I don't know why I didn't think, oh, they have several of these courts. The flowers.
19 courts altogether.
Unbelievable.
And then practice courts on top of it. So amazing science.
Well, I have so many other questions, but
I'll try to answer.
Gotta go to the tee.